past few weeks, we have been bringing you interviews with the 10 finalists of the Dell Take Your Own Path campaign. This campaign showcases a list of business achievers from different walks of life, the real heroes of business. This week, we bring you the interviews of Yogesh Godbole, Director at Acebrain Technologies, and Arun Jacob, Managing Director at ArrayGlobe.com.
When I decided I was going to promote overseas education, I relocated from New Zealand and set up the company in early 2004, January to be precise. We started as a proprietary organization, the quintessential startup, 2 tables, 2 chairs, a borrowed laptop, and a borrowed desktop from a friend, sort of a thing, just myself and my wife. So we would do everything from making our own chai to, sitting and counseling students and, preparing the visa files and sending it across to the High Commission and the embassy. Yeah, that's another very misleading calculator on that. When I came in here, I realized that, you needed to have a big portfolio of offerings by way of countries as destinations. But I looked around and I also realized that there were already well-established players for destinations like the US, UK and Australia. And which is when I said, all right, maybe it's not such a great idea to kind of take them head on because they were already very well established. So I decided I was going to focus on New Zealand and create a niche for it. So, which is where our entire focus went in the initial couple of years of our organization. But all along, I always wanted to ensure that we would kind of come a full circle and then be able to represent other countries, institutions from other countries as well. But that journey has took a little longer than what I anticipated. And when we decided we're going to move away from Array NZ with our New Zealand focus, we started developing another brand called ArrayGlobe.com, which was a bit more, wider in the way it would represent countries from other places. There was always a disconnect between the fact that the counselor was not completely equipped to deal with all the needs of the prospective student sitting on the other side of the table. Which is where I said that particular control of choice of country, course, college and career needs to go to the other side of the table. I was like very sure that choice needs to be with my student and not with us. I am now intending to create that one-stop shop, that one repository where all the information pertinent to that going overseas for education experience is concerned needs to be available at one click. And that's where I'm hoping ArrayGlobe.com is going to be eventually, is that we become like the one-stop shop from the moment somebody evinces interest of saying, hey, I want to go overseas and study. That's where we are headed. I think the first time I actually booked my first online ticket when I had to fly somewhere was my eureka moment. Earlier, this passenger would go sit in the physical travel agent's office, and then you would see that girl going cutter on her keyboard, and then most of the time she's not even able to see what's coming on the display of a monitor. But then she would finally say, sir, how about taking flight so-and-so of this particular airline and going to Delhi? And most of the time she had to nod your head and say, all right, let me take that flight, sounds like the best option for me. But I think the first time I interacted with a travel portal, I realized the convenience, the simplicity of how quickly the decision-making power moved away from the travel agent into my hands. And then I was like, wow, isn't that exactly what I do? Right now, the word innovation itself is probably what makes us very different from most of the other competitors, whom I respect, and I meet a lot of them quite regularly in some of the committees that have been formed of the good agencies in this country. So I tend to interact. But I think what sets us apart is our focus on innovation. is on our ability to think outside the square, because we are very, very keen to create a rich technological experience. Over the last couple of years, we have stopped sounding like an overseas education consulting firm. We've begun to sound more and more like a technology firm, which is now giving or furthering the service of an overseas education experience. So I think the big differentiator between Array Consulting Private Limited and most of our competitors will be the fact that we are very tech savvy. We understand how technology can be used in taking this business to the next level, and hopefully this technology usage will also remove some of the gray areas around this industry, because unfortunately a lot of these people who call themselves overseas education consultants really have no idea about what advice they are dishing out to prospective students and what kind of documentation practices or professional practices are being followed. The ability to dream, to dare to dream, I think is very, very important. You need to have some innate intellect, of course, and of course backed by good education and some pedigree of work perhaps might be a great asset as well for an entrepreneur. The third thing is discipline. I do not remember a day in the last 6 years that I have not gone to work. I may be at home sitting and watching television, but I'm thinking about my work. And come what may, however hard you partied into the night, however long you sat up and watched an interesting cricket match, I think you need to wake up and go to work in the morning. It's as simple as that. It's strongly recommended that you need to acquire mentors, whether that person knows that he is your mentor or not. And I have two mentors. I absolutely idolize what Mr. Bikchandani did with Naukri.com, and I also idolize what Mr. Kalra did with MakeMyTrip.com. And I don't know if both those gentlemen are aware of it, but they are my mentors. The current project is we are hoping to relaunch ArrayGlobe.com as something a bit more easier to understand and pass something known as the radio test. The radio test is where if you've heard something, you should be able to remember it, even after a few hours later. We are working on completing some of the pending dashboards because Jason is, as I said, has joined Array System Online. So the client, the case officer, the counselor, the accounts, and a lot of them are already joined. There's still some departments that need to be joined to complete the complete picture. So that's another thing that we're working on. We're working on at least 4 top-end features which are going to be like seriously innovative, even if I'm saying it myself. I love long drives. I absolutely love long drives. In fact, recently I got into my car with a couple of friends and drove to Delhi from Hyderabad and came back. We were on the road for 80 hours and the reason I went there was for a 3-hour meeting. I'm very, very conscious of the fact that family comes first. So I will not trade off my time with my 3 beautiful daughters or with my lovely wife to go and knock off another deal or those kinds of things. Yeah, there's the odd time of the year when or times in the year when you might have to go take a delegate from overseas for a dinner and so on and so forth, but you will not find me doing it day after day, week after week. I'm very conscious about the fact that I'm happiest in my home with my family, doing my things or with a close set of friends and getting out and doing some fun things. So work is just a great facilitator to be able to do this.